A dead oil worker prompts Mulder to investigate, disrupting an oil rig's production and pissing off Kirsch.
He and Doggett get to the bottom of what's happening in the Gulf of Mexico and fear it may be the alien virus re-emerging.
This is not happening. This is not happening.
I'm a little happy to see the virus back. Are you, Andrew?
Well, I guess so. It seems to be the reunion tour of best hits for these latest X-Files episode. And I'm fine with it. I mean, it was a cute little season 3 arc that's getting a little bit of a nod.
Yeah. I mean, last episode we had, or not last episode, but 3 words, we had the good old government conspiracy angle. Warn the president.
Always a classic.
Trot that out. Mulder's going crazy.
Yeah, although going to the president for to give the answers, that was great, especially as we knew it was Bush at the time.
And then you shoot yourself in the gut. Everything's good.
Oh, yeah. There's none of those shenanigans in this episode.
No.
Thankfully.
No.
I do have questions, obviously. I will have questions because that's who I am. But for the most part, it's a fine episode.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the whole Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America thing, what are we going to say? I don't know what we're going to say.
I don't think we're going to say a damn thing because it is the Gulf of Mexico, and in 2001 it was the Gulf of Mexico.
Dare you, sir?
How unpatriotic of you.
Unpatriotic of you. I am calling the president.
Do we know what oil rig they used for the filming of this?
You know what?
They must have gotten
I was thinking about that. I should have looked that up.
You are terrible. I don't know what you do with your time when it comes to doing your research on these. How deep do you delve?
Well, it depends on what it is, but
in this case, you don't care.
No, I just didn't get to it. I'm sorry.
Well, you weren't on vacation, so I suppose that's allowable.
Filming. Senco oil refinery in Santa Fe Springs and an offshore oil platform in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Santa Barbara. Because
well, that makes sense.
Definitely was on location. You could tell. So,
oh my God, they made the most of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, all these helicopter shots and beauty shots of walking around an oil rig. It was definitely a thing. Like, it reminded me of episodes where they would get a boat from the Canadian Navy and film the shit out of it. They just took so much.
Well, it's such a good set, right? It's a different location. Mm-hmm. It's something to look at. And you've got, at least in this case, you've got water all around. You've got a very obviously industrial look. So it's such a treat for the viewers to be able to watch everything happen on location, something that's very unusual. Because nowadays that would be 1,000% green screen all the way. So
with this, well, they do get a green screen shot.
They do. But that's the stunt of the stunts. Yeah. Oh yeah. So,
the way this show works, I'm surprised they didn't build it on location. I'm thinking of the episode in the subway tunnel, and I was thinking of that a couple of days ago. I was like, I'm sure. I know in Toronto there is a abandoned subway station. It wasn't available in 2001, but there are subway stations that were never put into use. They had plans, and then they didn't put them into use, and they have been used in music videos, and they're sets for various scenes. Why on earth did you not do that for your episode, as opposed to building? What we
subway
that episode. Yeah, we don't.
Well, we built an oil rig for this one. This one was actually a Fox Studios backlot. They have
Fox is getting into the oil business.
Hundreds of millions of gallons of water just lying around.
Oh yeah, we're not doing anything really, so why not?
We, of course, ladies and gentlemen, are talking about Vienen. Ooh, Vienen.
Vienen, which
not Vienna.
Do you know what that word means, Mike?
They're coming, or
yes. It's Spanish for they come.
They come.
Yeah, which I am surprised that this was written and directed by people that were not
Hardy, right?
Yeah, it's directed by Rod Hardy and written by Stephen Maida. Now, Stephen Maida's done some pretty good episodes, so in a way I'm not surprised, but I'm kind of surprised that we don't have more credits with like Chris Carter, Frank Spotnitz directly involved. because they are dredging up a mythology arc.
Yeah.
Villain.
It is interesting. I'm not sure what the thought process behind that is because, yeah, like you say, it is a mythology arc, but does it really affect anything? That was kind of where I was thinking maybe this is a one-off just to bring the oil back, and I don't know, but...
Frankly, they're probably running out of ideas, and they're like, you know what, let's dig through the drawer of story hooks that we've had, and, what's a good sequel item? Well, we haven't been to the black oil in a while, so let's do something fun with that. But my problem with it is that it scratches the surface and then just immediately leaves it again. Mm-hmm. Like it is not going to evolve into something else, and it was such a huge part of season 3.
Right.
So, it's so...
And 4.
And 4. Yeah. It comes up so many times. And yet here it's like, oh, we're here again, but not really. Because we're all just going to sit in the Gulf of Mexico forever now.
And let's just be honest, for anyone who may not know, just going forward, the mythology is very haphazard and doesn't really... I mean, it makes sense enough, but it's not great. So this actually fits... nowhere, I guess. This is the beginning and end of the black oil as far as I can remember.
Yeah, they don't come along again.
It's just here because it used to be, and they don't really explain what the whole point is other than it's just more oil drawn up from the bottom of the ocean, so maybe it was there for a long time. Maybe that's the whole thing, but the mestizo thing doesn't come back to anything, and the oil itself is pretty much gone. So
yeah. Yep.
It's just a fun episode, so, I mean, we were more than happy to get into it for you.
Well, I guess that's what we're here for, though, right?
I suppose. I suppose. All right.
Well, are you ready to immerse yourself in black oil?
I'm ready to coat myself.
Drown yourself in the details?
Absolutely. And I hope they come pouring out of my eyes, all the details. All right.
Yeah, the analogy is a good one.
It was all right. Well, we open, ladies and gentlemen, on Fox Studios' backlot, Galpax Orpheus platform in Gulf of America. It's nighttime. Moonlight reflects off the water as the camera ascends to reveal the Galpax Orpheus platform in all of its beauty. Men in the galley eat their dinner and watch a hockey broadcast. A man with long dark hair side-eyes someone at a table who returns his gaze. The television cuts out and the foreman gives it a wrap to make the picture come back to the joy of all. It's a brotherly, hard-nosed crew enjoying their precious time away from work. The chef offers some meat to the long-haired man and walks away from his post. The man once again glances back at his friend sitting down. We cut now to the dark, steamy floor of the rig. The man who was eating his dinner is now skulking around the shadows on its many catwalks. He walks to the radio room to find one of his mates working on some repairs. The operator makes general small talk, paying the visitor little mind. He speaks broken Spanish in an attempt to communicate as he continues to work. A knife is revealed in the man's hand, and he attacks the operator, stabbing him in the gut. Men cheer raucously in the galley to a scored shot. High fives all around, and the TV cuts out again. The foreman once again raps on it, but this time, no dice. He calls for the communications operator and goes to look for him. When he approaches the radio room, he hears loud thudding and electrical hissing. He finds the Latino man smashing all the equipment. The foreman intervenes and gets him to stop. He then sees the operator, Ed, on the ground, dead. He rolls him over, and when he does, sees the subcutaneous worms heading towards his eyes. They swirl with the black oil. The foreman looks up at the attacker, grabs him, and holds him at bay. Now you gone and done it. In a twist, he throws him to the ground next to Ed. His eyes and body begin to glow brilliantly as the attacker screams for his life. Credits.
Yeah, it occurs to me, I had issues when I was going through this episode later. I was thinking that the conspiracy, the black oil conspiracy, the fact that all the crew members, sorry to spoil it for anybody who hasn't listened, but if you haven't seen the episode, what are you doing here? The conspiracy of black oil aliens, like every one of the crew members is a black oil alien, except for these two Spanish guys, well, Mexican guys. And it's all set up right here because the radio guy is
a bad
black
guy.
oil alien, as well as Taylor, the old guy. So I should have put the pieces together, but I think the openings do that thing that the openings do, which is they give you some facts, and then after the commercial, after the credits, the plot takes a completely different twist. We're back with the agents around the water cooler. The story begins for real, and you just fade out on what happened.
You do forget that the worms were already in the radio operator by the time the story unfolds. So it is kind of cool. They give you a lot of information in this scene. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too.
Shout out to MC Gainey, Foreman Taylor as Swamp Thing from Con Air.
Like, Con Air, that's where he is. Yeah,
no, he's in a lot of stuff, but he's in Lost a little bit and Wild Hogs.
Gonna give
the Mighty Ducks in 1992.
Oh, Mighty Ducks, yes, of course.
Where else would we have known him from?
Where else? Yeah, fair.
Yeah, good guy. I like seeing him, but he does a good job here. All right, we come back to the FBI. Agent Doggett reads a paper as he heads to the locked X-Files office. He unlocks it and heads inside to find Mulder going through a cabinet.
Am I interrupting anything, Agent Mulder?
Nothing you'd be too terribly interested in, Agent Doggett.
Agent Mulder, what are you doing down here?
I'm looking into the recent death of an oil worker.
Yeah, I got a heads up on it from you a couple days ago.
That's what I'm doing here.
Agent Mulder, I understand that you have more than just a proprietary interest in these cases, but I can't help it if you're not assigned to this unit anymore. I didn't see any reason to pursue this oil worker case.
Oh, well, maybe you missed the fact that this victim's corpse washed ashore at Port Aransas, Texas. Massive flash burns on 90% of his body.
I read the report, Agent Mulder, if you're insinuating I didn't.
Then you must also know that this man was not the only man to disappear from the Galpex Orpheus platform that night, but one of two men. The communications officer is also missing.
The company attributes that to an explosion on the rig. A blowout, which is what they say caused Simon Dela Cruz's burns.
Burns, the ME said in his report, were not inconsistent to exposure to high levels of radiation.
Not inconsistent. It's not exactly what I'd call a ringing endorsement.
These files include the same kind of radiation phenomena. Tissue destroyed by exposure to
black oil. 5 years ago, you and Agent Scully investigated the case of a World War II plane salvaged from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, where a substance was brought to the surface, which you describe as a highly contagious virus of extraterrestrial origin that has radioactive properties and can take over a man's body, and is part of an alien conspiracy to colonize the planet, if I'm not mistaken.
And you'd love to help, but you left your lightsaber at home. How'd you get stuck down here, Agent Doggett? Kirsch catch you peeing in his cornflakes?
As the phone rings, both men instinctively reach for it and pause. Mulder then proceeds to pick it up and hands it to Doggett with a smile. Passing the torch, Andrew?
Not yet. Not so soon, my friend.
I like the scene. I really do. It gives them a real nice sit down. Just talking, which they are not good at. So I enjoy seeing the back and forth between them, and Doggett 100% knowing where Mulder's going with this.
They're both
nice
good actors, so it's great to see them in a good scene together.
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, I guess I'm going to have a bit of an issue going forward that Mulder is such a pain in the FBI side to pursue this case.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. They need him to be so that the outcome at the end can be quite so dire. But to what end? Like, he doesn't know the black oil is a thing yet. You could argue that he is so passionate because eventually the black oil becomes quite clear and he gets it. But no, does he know it?
He does. He knows the black oil is a thing because they talk about it, and they have the pictures of the body, which very much so.
Okay, so I take it back. He's got motivation to be so passionately driven. I guess I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get him to a place. And coming to think about it, we were just talking about the writers and, the black oil, why they brought it back.
Yep.
This is something that would put Mulder in a frenzy to act irrationally and get him fired, which is what they need to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to deep six him so that for the rest of the season, he's in a different place. But what's missing is the scene where he tells Scully the stakes, that this is the black oil again. I can't stand idly by. I've got to do something. And she's going to go, yeah, I get it because I was there. We don't have that. So we just have to make assumptions about Mulder's motivation. That's fine. I don't think it's impossible, but it just feels like he's doing all the wrong things, regardless of consequences.
He is. And I think and you could be right. Maybe it's an oversight in the writing. I always just attributed it to he doesn't give a fuck anymore. I don't know.
I've died and come back from the dead. I really don't have any fucks left to give.
I've got somewhat of a savings.
Yeah.
If I get canned for this, fuck it. Well, it's Scully calling, asking why Doggett was pursuing the Texas oil case. There's an oil exec in the office, and Doggett informs he's not. It's Mulder. Cut to both men entering the conference room with the oil exec, Scully, and their superiors. She's less than pleased he's here, causing issues, and Kirsch as well lets out his disdain. Kirsch introduces Mulder to Mr. Ortega, the executive. He runs the Galpex station. They are under the impression the FBI is running an investigation into the death of the worker, and Mulder admits he spoke to Ortega on the phone and the government officials about the investigation. It would be in the best interest of the FBI, but Kirsch corrects. They would beg to differ. Ortega interjects, Mulder has complicated a sensitive issue. There's a new oil province, and it would be a huge political and economic advantage to whoever drills first. The oil field is believed to be well on our side, but could stretch further south. Mexico could claim it as their own. But this has nothing to do with that, Mulder says. It's about the death of Simon de la Cruz, his unexplained death. Ortega gets serious. He was a Mexican national killed working on a U.S. enterprise. Mexico would like nothing more than to use this against them and be the first to drill the site. Kirsch now has no choice but to conduct a criminal investigation quickly and quietly to take away legal positions against American interests. He shuts down Mulder when he tries to speak and tells him he's sending someone from the X-Files to investigate it. Don't worry. Mulder looks at Scully and back at Kirsch. You can't send a pregnant woman to an oil platform. But he's not. Doggett looks at Mulder from his chair. Thanks for all your help, dude. This is exactly how I wanted to spend my next couple of days. Oh, poor Doggett.
I don't understand why Mulder is so opaque there. Like, you're sending Scully? There's nobody else.
That's probably the stretchiest of the stretchy for me on this episode. It's like, come on. Did you really think that Scully was going to get sent out there?
I do like the assumptions. Like, well, you're not going to send Doggett. I mean, that's just a waste of time.
Oh, God. But yeah, I mean, good setup. I like this tension. Obviously, Kirsch hates Mulder, and it's
classic.
Always good to see these people interact.
Yep.
So, love it, love it, love it.
Yep. No, great scene. I like the raising of the stakes. It's good stuff.
Well, the next day, in a scene directly out of Jurassic Park, a helicopter whooshes by the camera. It lingers as it pans up, following the craft as it approaches the rig out at sea. And I always hear like trailer dialogue here. In a world. It's like the opening to a 1990s trailer. I don't know.
They are going to get the most out of this oil rig.
Yes, they are. In a world full of possibilities and opportunity to live the American dream comes an adventure 65 million years in the making. But humanity's greed has gone too far, tapping into something from the past that threatens all life on the planet. Oh my God, this data. Do you have any idea what this means? Now, two unlikely partners at the FBI must put their differences aside to uncover the danger and stop it. I'm telling you, Doggett, it must be aliens. Oh, here we go. Spooky Mulder with another conspiracy theory. David Duchovny. These things exist. Robert Patrick. Mulder, there's nothing to support this. Things get oily this summer in Black Oil. In theaters June 12th. Don't bring your kids, it's very scary. Well, the helicopter circles to the helipad and is guided in. Someone is there to meet Doggett. Yuri Volkov jumps off the helicopter as the new communications officer, and Doggett greets the men, but they seem confused about who he is. John asked if anyone told them he was coming. Turns out they did receive word an agent was coming, and Doggett confirms, yeah, that's me. Then who's the guy who got here this morning? Doggett's face ponders this for half a second, and then realization sets in. The two men enter a darkened room below deck to find Agent Mulder sitting with the foreman, talking. Sensing Doggett's frustration, Mulder informs him he's getting acquainted with the situation and that the newly arriving agent should pull up a chair so the foreman doesn't have to repeat himself. Doggett is unimpressed, but he doesn't voice that just yet. Mr. Taylor, the foreman, begins. He was on deck watch that night, and men can go off the deep end, kind of like a cabin fever, the oil rig. Miles away from their families and 6 weeks at a stretch, may as well be doing hard time. Doggett inquires about how that relates to Simon De La Cruz. Mestizos, Taylor says, are usually the most reliable people on the drill floor, but Simon just lost his nut. It's the only explanation. When the agent inquires about the flash burns on his body, Taylor says he tried to blow the whole rig. It was sabotage, plain and simple. Must have sparked an explosion. When the agents call attention to the oddity of the communications chief being on the floor, Taylor brushes it off. A man can die out here just going for a walk. No one knew he was gone until shift change. The meeting ends and the agents leave. Doggett is all too eager to talk to Mulder. Oh, and in case we forgot, Taylor's a bad guy.
If you didn't know, there's a lot of significant glancing there.
Yeah, the long glowering at the agents as they leave the room. I need you to stare. Don't blink. We have to get enough time to get the oil effect in there. Post. Okay. And cut.
Yep. And cut.
So this is a cool scene. Mulder actually sits back and lets Doggett do the investigation, chiming in a little bit, but not being overbearing. We can see Mulder kind of studying Taylor, his answers and his actions, but overall, good little exposition scene, even if Taylor's lying his ass off.
Yeah. I mean, we, the audience, know.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like, no, don't go. He's a bad guy. Come on,
bad.
Mulder. He's bad.
Outside, Doggett and Mulder have a back and forth.
Hey, Jamal, don't walk away when I'm talking to you. Like it or not, I've been assigned this case. One call to the deputy director, and you can't advance subordination.
How you gonna call when the radio's broken?
Hey, don't push me, Agent Mulder.
You won't do it.
You think?
We're both in the same boat, Agent Doggett. We're just paddling in different directions.
No, we're not going in different directions here. We're going in one direction. My direction.
I don't think Kirsch expects you to come back empty-handed on this one. And since you've already told me what you think about this case in so many words, I don't see you coming back with anything that's going to protect anybody's business interests, let alone your own ass.
Wow, you really got me pegged. Anything that doesn't fit in my narrow field of vision might as well not exist. Is that right, Agent Mulder? So why is this man Taylor lying? You do know he's lying.
I think he knows the truth about what happened. And he may not be the only one.
I never would have believed it. These stories about you.
Really, what stories are those?
That you could find a conspiracy at a church picnic.
What church?
Gotta love it. I don't know if you noticed, but I think both of those clips I've used so far have ADR. Fill in lines.
I thought it's better than what was the episode? It was so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like not good. But this one was good enough that I was like, is there
that one was okay. The first scene in the office, very noticeable.
Yeah.
Well, Mulder with his usual charm. As they leave the scene, we do see a young mestizo listening in from below. In the autopsy bay, Skinner walks in. Scully's been waiting for him and asks him to close the door. She hasn't been able to reach Mulder. She's been working on Simon and found something in the third ventricle of his brain. She takes a scalpel and slices gently at the back of his head. A black substance oozes out slowly, and Skinner rushes to move her out of harm's way. Unusually, she calms him down. This man was infected with the alien virus, but it's dead. The question is, what killed it? Skinner indicates the importance of telling Doggett, but Scully says he needs to convince Kirsch to do a controlled evacuation of the rig. This seems like a horrible idea. Kirsch is pissed off as it is. In the end, Skinner says we don't know Doggett's in danger. There are 24 other men there with no cases.
I just, at this point, I need to sort of underline something that this show does all too often.
What is that?
This is sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, what is that?
This is such a major plot development. How many episodes have we had where the vaccine to the alien virus is a thing? Now, I guess what I could be missing here is this is a different alien. I think, again, it's not clear, but the vaccine to an alien has been a plot point for at least a dozen episodes. And here we have her saying this guy is a natural immunity to the virus. And that nugget gets just cast aside and let to go down the drain. Should this not be, do you know how big this is? If we can synthesize the genes in his body, which produce his reaction or this immunity, we can save everybody.
You can't do that. That's a slippery slope, Andrew, because then you would be opening up a can of worms of scientists experimenting on Latino community. We can't do that. That would be...
We certainly cannot do that. No, that is clearly what Scully said in that scene off stage.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would... In today's world, they would quickly devolve into torture and unfortunate things. So I get why
but I come back to some other tactics that the syndicate used to further its ends. And I feel like if they knew there was a population out there who was naturally immune to this alien virus, they'd be like, yeah, you had rights.
Well, geez.
We're going to use you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Awful. They would have shortcut that vaccine real quick. Yeah. They would have been done in 1950. They would have had the plan thwarted. No.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor walks into the radio room with the new operator. Gear is all online and working, the man says, but there's some high-pitched frequency he's picking up. Taylor just looks at him while the man listens in. Some signal is filtering across many channels. The foreman stops him from continuing and throws him by the neck against the wall. The man crashes into shelving and falls to the floor as Taylor looms over him. His eyes and mouth fill with the black oil, and it begins pouring onto the man. Within seconds, his tortured screams turn to silence as the black worms enter his body.
Poor bastard.
Poor bastard. Although it looked much better than when Krychek was puking it up in the missile silo in season 3.
I actually prefer that effect to what we're seeing here.
Do you? I mean, it was a whole new face prosthetic for Krychek, but not so much here.
I mean, it was clearly a bit more effort involved to make that scene than what we have here. I mean, what's the special effect that they did? Is it reverse motion? They're pouring it onto the guy's eyes and just playing it back in reverse?
This is actually computer. I'm looking at it right now. That has got to be computer because you don't see any change to Gainer's face or Gainey's face. I don't think there's any prosthetic. I think he just loomed over the guy and opened his mouth and they added it in post.
They CGI'd it. It's pretty good.
It works.
Compared to some other compositing they do later on. It's pretty good.
Yeah. We come back to the same radio room. A priority transmission is attempting to come through from Scully. A few moments pass and no response. But then Yuri steps into frame and answers her. She identifies herself and requests to speak to Doggett. A hand on Yuri's shoulder. It's Mulder. I got this. He sits down and speaks to his partner. Her face drops. Mulder? She protests, but he knows she needs him out here. Hesitantly, she tells him she found the virus, but it's dead. They are equally confused how. The two go back and forth about quarantining, Mulder thinking it best to quarantine on the rig and Scully on the mainland. You found the virus, he says. Now find what knocks it out. There's a great line. I actually really like this line because it's so funny. If she can't find out what kills the virus, Mulder tells her to tell the kid he went down swinging.
It's a good line.
Just in the context of not just dying doing what he loved, but like combating the fucking FBI, going against everything.
Yes, that's what he really means.
Yeah, that is what he means.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Doggett interrupts them, and Mulder cuts the communication, walking out of the room. The two begin to bicker once more. Doggett asserting he's in charge out here. He wants the information she gave Mulder, and he acquiesces. On the floor, the group of men are rounded up and addressed. They're locking the rig down and stopping production for the time being. They're stuck for a while, all flights suspended until the FBI has completed its investigation. Taylor stands with his men, upset about the possible contagion. He foments resentment among the crew that is quickly shut down by the men in charge. Mulder then addresses the man in charge with the crew manifest. There appears to be someone missing, despite his claims everyone being there. Diego Garza, a deckhand, friend of Simon de la Cruz, is missing. The man takes a look around. I'll be damned. He is. He hasn't left the rig, but where could he be?
I would like to point out a little bit of a plot discrepancy.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Our previous viewing of the black oil, the conceit is when the black oil transfers from body to body, the host it leaves gets these horrible symptoms and dies from radiation. Doesn't happen to Taylor here. Taylor just seems to, I guess, vomit up some of himself. Then that can go into the new radio guy, and he's part of the team now.
They get horrible symptoms and die. Why am I not recalling that?
The French diver who saw the pilot in the 40s airplane. That's the
French diver. It leaves his body. It leaves completely. Yeah. You're right there. You're right there. Yeah. It transmits, and then he's like left covered in oil. I don't remember him dying from that.
I mean, I don't think anything good happens to him.
I mean, I guess we don't fully know, but you're right in the sense that it goes from person to person. Here, it's like spreading like a plague.
Yeah.
Which is different, and I don't think they care at this point.
Well, begs the question, why don't they just goo themselves into Mulder and Doggett?
The only thing I can think of, because that is the question, right? So the only thing I can think of is they're trying to keep somewhat of a low profile until they can get off themselves to infect the mainland. But at that point, I don't understand why they wouldn't, like you're saying, infect Doggett and Mulder, because they're going to the mainland after this. So
no, Scully, we don't need to do quarantine.
Let's not think about it.
We're coming home.
Best to not think about that part.
Do not tug at the thread. Well, the whole thing is held together by some threads.
They do hint at some sort of conspiracy. Obviously, conspiracy. No shit. But the crew sticking together for something. But I don't know. Yeah. It's ambiguous. Not really important. But for me, I guess I can draw the line that they want to be the ones to infect the mainland. Or they just want to hang out here and be left alone.
Clearly.
It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X. Our Patreon, patreon.com/Magus Media, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support. Scully shows Mr. Ortega the remains. The man is squeamish, but nonetheless must be aware of the danger to his men on the rig. He stresses that shutting down the rig is a costly thing to do at $150,000 a day. I believe it's more than that, Andrew. No one on the rig is sick. They're hungry and tired.
These are $2001.
I still believe it's more than that, if I had to guess. But that's just me. I don't know. Not an expert.
Well, I challenge you to do some research.
Maybe I will
on this.
Maybe.
Maybe
okay, fine. Actually, I'm going to task you with that. I gotta tell the story, sir. So.
Mike cuts into the edit. Mike from the future here. Turns out the actual operating costs of an oil rig
$1.2 million per day,
$310,000 a day. So I was right.
I'm not calling you wrong. All right. Well, she explains the possible symptoms, unexplained behavior, detection in the eyes. When he states they've not seen any of that, Skinner reiterates, well, he's working off of suspect data. Ortega eventually stands firm. He's calling the crew in and rotating a fresh crew onto the rig. This is not what they want. Meanwhile, Mulder and Doggett share thoughts. Mulder's hoping to find Diego, but Doggett thinks it's a lost cause. Mulder notes Diego was a mestizo like Simon. Connection. The crew chief said these were great workers, supposedly. Now one's dead and the other's missing. You think someone might have noticed that. Doggett offers the idea that he's hiding to finish Simon's job, sabotage the rig to protect Mexican interests. But Mulder waves that away. He's read the script. Doggett is tired of the runaround and demands answers. Mulder can't provide any yet. He tries to calm his friend down. He's not here to bust his ass. He's seen this substance. It can take over a man's body, and they may not even know it. Doggett stops in his tracks, the two men on a sublevel. He glances at a small pipe and swipes his fingers across the seam, collecting a few drops. This substance? When's it supposed to kick in? He mocks. Mulder realizes Ortega lied. The oil field is already being drilled. That's how the crew got infected. If the organism is in the oil, it could infect many more people. Maybe that's why the mestizo is hiding. He knows what's happening. Just then, an alarm sounds. A fire rages inside the rig. The agents head inside to assist, grabbing an extinguisher as the crew rushes around. As Doggett goes to grab another further inside, Diego cold cocks him and knocks him out. Uh-oh, Andrew.
You know, this show is so hard on Robert Patrick. Like,
yeah, they
every
killed
other
him.
episode. Yeah, I know. Every other episode Robert Patrick, well, Doggett is in, he gets the shit beat out of him. His character must have like 20 concussions by now.
It's called earning his stripes. He's got to make up for all the butts to the forehead of Scully.
That's true. That's true.
Scully is in the autopsy bay after hours, moving about the room. From the shadows, a voice calls to her. It's Kirsch. She's continuing her work, but he's not privy to this work. This body should be on its way to Mexico by now. Scully's unsure how to respond to her superior, but Skinner enters, giving her some leeway. I obviously can't count on those supposed to keep me apprised of the situation, Kirsch calmly says, noting Skinner's entrance. Instead, he's getting phone calls from Martin Ortega. He heats up a little. Who the hell gave the order to shut down that rig? Scully drops her head, ready to admit, but Skinner takes the blame. Kirsch commands it be lifted. Scully informs him they've lost contact with the rig, though. He wants that crew choppered off and debriefed. She pushes a little against bringing the men back to the mainland, but he warns her the only mistake here would be not to follow his orders. And she, quite frankly, is running out of mistakes.
Yeah.
He begins to walk out, but leaves them something to think about. He's no idiot. If he didn't know any better, he'd say this was a Mulder stunt.
Well, he's no idiot, Mike.
I don't think he's an idiot. I think he knows what's happening. The question is,
some level,
he is.
Do you think at some level he actually does want to solve the case? Like, I looked at him in this scene and went, God, he's so pro oil, you know? Or is he just like wanting to save the FBI from exposure?
He's the foil, right? So he's going to be the guy who is against the good guys. So I did some digging into his history, and it turns out he's friends with George Bush and the oil families of the world. So
That makes so much sense.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in so far. It would make sense.
You think he's assisting in some weird way?
Well, by virtue of him needing to be antagonistic in the plot, that's kind of the only thing that's left.
Right.
But is he consciously? No, I don't think he is. I walked away with this going, does he have some stock option somewhere? Like, why is he so pro-oil in this moment? But then I thought maybe he's just afraid of Ortega doing the lawsuit thing. But yeah, he needs to do this because that's how his character is. He's got to keep the thing moving along, Let's make a little bit of a threat.
In my personal opinion, I would say he's protecting the FBI. We do come to find out other things later on in the show.
Okay.
Later on the show.
Don't spoil it for me, man.
Well, we go back to the rig at dusk. Down in the depths, the fire is controlled. Mulder asks one of the bosses what it is about this place that inspires men to violence and notes the Molotov cocktail used to start the problem.
And he's specifically talking about the radio room, which is exactly what I thought in that moment.
Right?
It's like, thank you, writers, for calling attention
Thank
to
you.
this.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
He picks up his radio and calls to Doggett, who has been missing for a little bit. Mulder's voice comes through Doggett's radio as the agent slowly comes to. The room's dark, lit only by ambient light through a giant fan porthole. As he sits up and reaches for the radio, a hand swipes it away. It's Diego, holding him at knife point. He cuts Doggett's arm lightly. Doggett yells in pain, showing him that his blood is red. In Spanish, Diego says they killed Simon. If they find me, they'll kill me too. Admittedly, Doggett doesn't speak Spanish very well, but he does his best.
But he does speak some.
He does.
To his credit.
He asks his name in Spanish, and Diego responds. They wanted the radio. That's why he started the fire. What are you afraid of? Diego rushes to him, desperately. You have to stop them, pointing the knife at Doggett's face. Not exactly a way to get someone to help you if you're going to kill them. No, yeah. And then he lets it out. Vienen. They're coming. Doggett deciphers. Who? The flying ships. Diego looks upwards. Back at the lab, Scully shows Skinner some images that may illuminate the situation.
This is an SEM image pulled at random from anonymous donors. Blood, more specifically, normal T-cell antibodies. By comparison, these are from the blood of the oil rig worker. T-cells in impossible numbers. In layman's terms, this victim was a virus-fighting machine.
How do you explain that?
Well, there are isolated cultures. Northern Italy, for one, where people are immune to certain diseases, heart disease in that case, through a genetic mutation.
So this man had what, kind of genetic immunity to alien virus?
Well, his employment records list Mr. Simon de la Cruz as of mixed Mexican ancestry, when in fact he is Huecha Indian. The Huecha are an indigenous Mexican culture that has a rare, undiluted gene pool. Now, these genes may have an innate immunity to infection.
Okay, so he was immune to the virus. That's still not what killed him. He died from being burned.
No, not burned. Irradiated. Because the virus had no effect on him, and the crew members who were infected by the virus couldn't control him. So they killed him by irradiating him.
Then why not kill Mulder? Or Agent Doggett? Why kill only this man?
This man must have been a threat because of something he knew.
What?
That I don't know.
So even if we did know, and were able to get word to them, it'd put Mulder and Agent Doggett in danger too, wouldn't it?
Doggett sits with Diego, staring at the photo of his family. The man is wide-eyed and silent. Doggett offers his help, but Diego trusts no one. If you stay here, they will find you, like Simon. Let me go, and we'll get you back home, and he gives his word in Spanish. Doggett begins making his way through the rig, but is quickly spotted by Taylor. The man stands tall compared to Doggett. Where is he? When Doggett avoids him, the man grabs him by his throat and takes him to the floor. As the agent struggles with him, he notices Taylor's eyes shift from human to a dark black. Shock comes over his face. A metal thud. Mulder hits Taylor from behind with a pipe, rescuing Doggett and pulling him up. Taylor lies unconscious on the floor, and the two agents flee to the radio room. Mulder asks if he can get the ship to shore working quickly as he locks the door behind them. One of the crew bosses is throwing himself at the door to gain entry as the rest of the crew arrives, all black eyes. It's an army of people infected with the virus. Doggett continues to work on the radio and manages to get Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, which is oddly appropriate. They gain frequency and make a distress call to the mainland. Strangely enough, Scully picks up, having been patched in. She tells him choppers are on the way. The hinges on the door begin to fail, and Mulder throws himself against it as well. He calls to tell Doggett to inform Scully they'll all be infected. The choppers cannot land. Doggett begins to relay the messages as quickly as possible. Diego Garza may be mentally unstable. Try to wreck the radio like Simon did. He will be coming with them. He may resist rescue because he believes the men from flying saucers are there to get him. Mulder rushes over and smashes the radio, realizing he has to destroy their ability to communicate with the mothership. Suddenly, the chaotic scene calms down. The banging on the door stops. The men exit the room cautiously and make their way to the outside. Doggett redirects to go to get Diego, but finds him in the far end of his room, irradiated, red and boiled skin, just like Simon. Outside, a helicopter approaches in the night. As the men run upstairs, Mulder thinks he knows why they let them go. The pipes begin to rupture. They're going to blow the rig. They see some of the crew appear in the distance, watching them ominously as fires begin to break out. They run down a catwalk, avoiding obstacles, slowly making their way outside as fires erupt everywhere. They make it to a side catwalk, their exit hindered by exploding flames and Taylor's group of men. The helicopter circles and spots them, hovering and positioning itself to help. The men work together, timing their jump. As they look over the railing, they count to 2 and leap. In a scene right out of an action film, boom, explosions roar behind them as they fall in slow motion, Andrew. The helicopter, they skip forward pretty far. The helicopter rescues them and makes a dramatic exit as the rig collapses behind. So it must have had like a rope ladder or something to fish them out of the water.
Yeah, or it just landed on the water, because helicopters can do that, right?
I don't believe for a second that landed. But thankfully they didn't say it did, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
They jumped off the oil rig. It's pretty exciting.
I've got... Why blow up the oil rig? I mean, I know it's a dramatic conclusion and all that, but like, this is the plan to get these guys? We'll take them with us.
Yeah. I mean, if your ultimate goal is to infect as many people as you want, presumably there's more black oil down there, right?
Yeah.
So my idea here would be to, and this is kind of why I think they're trying to keep this operation secret and why they're not infecting the FBI. They just want them out of there. Is so they can continue producing and get the oil all over the world so that it's easier. More people are infected.
100%.
So,
but
why blow it up?
Why blow it up?
That's the question.
They have all the cards here. Like, if Mulder tries to go into Crazy Town, like, I got to tell you about all these aliens in their oil. They just say, I think he needs a rest.
Yeah.
Because, like, it just comes off as bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And
fuck it. Plan ruined.
They wanted the epic jumping and an exploding oil rig behind them. I'm convinced that they wrote this script with that in mind and worked backwards, right?
Absolutely.
Super simple way to solve it. Because Diego Garza's death is so anticlimactic. It's just like they come back to find him and he's dead.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, that sucked. give me a scene where Diego makes his way to the incinerator or reactor core or whatever, and he is able to put the charge on and make the thing go boom, and now the whole thing's going to go up.
Give him a no-exit situation where he tries to make an escape by himself and gets cornered, and he realizes he can't escape, so he actually succeeds in blowing the rig.
Yes.
That would be a good ending there.
And then they're forced to flee. It's like, why are they not smacking on the door anymore? Because they've got to deal with the fire.
Yeah.
As opposed to they set the fire. Now they're looking ominously, watching you leave. It was such a weird. I know why. Yeah. But it was weird.
Yeah, it's all right. It happens. Not the worst.
It totally happened. Yes.
Well, back at the FBI. Doggett arrives to the office to find Mulder sitting in the side room. He's been called to A.D. Kirsch's office, like Scully and Skinner. It's all hitting the fan. Word came down that Galpex lost the right to drill the province. Mulder clarifies. That oil should stay where it is, and you should do everything in your power to make sure it does. Confusion on Doggett's face. The phone rings, but Mulder identifies it as Kirsch, calling to tell Doggett there's no need to see him. The blame has been assigned. Mulder's out. 86th. Kirsch could barely contain his happiness when he stuck it to him. Mulder's taking the fall, not just for Doggett, but for the X-Files. You have Kirsch's ears now. You're all the credibility this office has left, and you saw it with your own eyes. The phone continues to ring. Answer it. You're in charge now. He walks out of the room as Doggett looks at the phone contemplatively. I am the X-Files? Credits.
What? I'm the X-Files? He does kind of look at it that way, doesn't he?
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, Andrew. That's the end of this wild ride of an episode.
Well, they needed to get rid of Mulder, eh? Or they needed to...
Get him out of the FBI.
Yeah. I think his presence in the FBI was problematic from a story writing point of view. And keep in mind, I don't think at this point they know they've got a 9th season in them. So they're doing some things which feel like, let's get to the end of the season in a dramatic way and not be burdened by having to figure out how we're going to incorporate a Mulder we can't have anymore. Right. They only have him for so many episodes. As far as the episode goes, I mean, it's a lot of episode, and I'm surprised they put it in the hands of somebody who wasn't Chris Carter and Spotnitz with these big plot elements, but we've already talked about that, so I'm not going to go on and on about it. I think that maybe Maida had this idea for the black oil aliens drilling for alien oil, and then, it's a neat story on its own, and then you've got Chris Carter and the lot tacking on the firing of Mulder at the end. They decide this is an opportunity where they can get rid of him. And to be fair, this could be the result of dozens of other episodes that we've had so far, like Mulder doing something which is objectionable and they use it to fire him. This is just the case where it actually happens. So, I mean, in the FBI's defense, justifiably, I would say, like the shenanigans he gets up to.
Right.
So the script's fine. The acting's fine. We've got a return of an old favorite, but it's kind of a weird plot. I mean, I intimated this at the beginning. They bring the black oil up. They deal with it. It goes away. Case closed. And that's the element that's the most surprising to me is it goes away at the end. They destroy the oil rig. Like, why? And we've already also talked the heck out of that, so I'm not going to go on again about it. It's an action-packed episode, good enough, but otherwise kind of meh. I suspect you're probably going to say you don't go back to it a lot, but why don't you tell me what your thoughts were?
I like it. I think it is a nice episode that has just enough action and just enough story to keep me involved. I'm happy to see Doggett and Mulder get like a one-on-one in the beginning, and also they're stuck together throughout the episode, which is something I think the show has needed since they both were on the scene. So it's very fun. They don't come to a point where it's annoying to hear them go back and forth. I think obviously Doggett has counter opinions to what Mulder believes, but it's written in a way that is believable for Doggett and Mulder's not an asshole about it. So I do appreciate that. He's giving Doggett room to be the guy in charge.
Yeah.
That's just a well written in that respect. There's a lot of tension between them and Kirsch, and just the dialogue scenes are pretty fun for me. So if you take out the questions that you and I have had, they're not huge questions, and therefore the episode is still enjoyable for me. I think, yeah, it's a good ride. And I just want to point out, Andrew, Mulder is officially fired. So I did a little bit of recapping. Did the little Mike Rolodex thing.
Okay. And
all of the things that Mulder could have been fired for, right? So, routinely flouts orders. He shows an inability to not break into locations and use evidence against monsters and people. Actively lockpicking. He attacks his superiors frequently enough. He gets in fights and scuffles with Skinner. He digs up graves without permission. He gets a sex offender out of prison without permission and allows him to escape somehow. Not on purpose, but still.
But it happened.
It happened. The thing he gets fired for, he blows up an oil rig. Or at least that's what they're blaming him for. God damn it. If you hinder capitalism, Andrew.
If you mess with big oil.
God help you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a lesson for all of us. And that's where I would end up with, is just basically the crusade is real. You can do what you can do to advance your cause and fight for truth and justice in the American way and all of that. But just stay on the good side of capitalism in the process. Because in addition to needing a place to live, they'll come for you.
I would love to have seen the senator. He's still on Mulder's side. Let's pretend. He's defending Mulder to the rest of the government. It's just one oil rig, right? We're going to keep the X-Files open. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't worry about it.
Dude, listen, it's fine.
It's fine.
Listen, we're capitalism. We'll just build another one.
But yeah, episode, I like it. It's fun. It's different. I think the setting is big on that. And it really allows the show to breathe a little bit. It's something different. It's kind of a haunted house episode, but not really. I like it.
I like it to a point. Like, there's just enough things. In the moment, I'm sure I was fine with it. But there's just a few things when you start tugging on those threads, you're like, oh, you really wanted this badly enough to do it like this. And you could have done it another way. I really object to just the casual slaughter of Diego Garza. Like, I get it. Like, they find him and they kill him. That's cool. But they could have given it another out that makes the destruction of the oil rig make sense. It didn't make sense in the moment. Like, I don't understand why the bad guys just tried to kill themselves.
Forget it. Our plan didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to.
I am so angry at these FBI agents. I am going to destroy myself to get them.
Darn it. You FBI are everywhere.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Can't have it. Well, that's the episode. Andrew.
It is.
What do you say? We get the F out of here. And if you would like to say goodbye to the good listeners and watchers, please do so.
Good listeners and watchers, I'm just going to say, again, stay away from capitalism if you can. Keep them on your good side.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at tinhxfilespod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.